I'm meteorologist Bill Murray. Here's your Alabama WX Sunday morning weather briefing for this September 15th, 2024. And boy, it's been a wet weekend. And it's not over yet. Recording this just after 11 p.m. here on Saturday night. And I'm going to release it a little earlier than I normally do, just so you can see it earlier. We've got increasing rainfall tonight in that feeder band that's been there. Typically we see an increase in convection at night in these remnant tropical systems, and that's the case across Alabama. We've got a band of moderate to heavy rain, and it's deceivingly light on this radar. Just going outside and listening to it rain here south of Birmingham, it is pouring. And this radar shows, pretty decent rain now right there in the 459 corridor where I am. We've gotten right at 3.4 inches of rain today since midnight. About a quarter of an inch of that has happened in the last hour or so as this band has edged ever so slowly to the southwest. But it is definitely increasing. It extends tonight from the northwestern corner of the state in the Quad Cities area down through Lawrence County. Fortunately, a little to the southwest of where the really heavy rain was earlier today. But some of that rain is spreading over that area. We'll see that comparison in just a minute. Northeastern Winston, southwestern Morgan, down into Coleman County, Blount County, southwestern Blount County, you're getting heavy rain. Now the northeastern half of Jefferson County, including areas from the western section of Birmingham back to the northeast, are getting heavy rain. Parts of northeastern Shelby through St. Clair and Talladega. But it looks, fortunately, like there might be light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully we're not going to continue to see redevelopment and training through the overnight hours. This will go on through. The rainfall amounts, as you'll see in just a moment, are still, not approaching an inch an hour yet. But we really can't take any more. We've had about all we can take. This is off the Huntsville radar. The Birmingham radar is inoperative. It went down about 4 in the afternoon today. It just kind of said, I've had enough, and went out. We don't know when it's going to be repaired. It won't be very long, but we might not have it tonight or tomorrow, obviously. But you see on the Huntsville radar, we've got this band of moderate to now heavy rain. And the interesting thing is, you see here, in our Prob Severe product, we can kind of see some of the statistics. No lightning associated with these. And the Cape is, not extreme, obviously. It's about 600 joules per kilogram, the most unstable Cape. But the precipitable water there, 2.0 inches, that is very nearly record territory for this time of year. In Alabama, at least in central Alabama. And, that 2.0 is pretty impressive. But the rainfall amounts, these are storm total rainfall amounts past 3 days off the Huntsville radar, showing a huge area, this gray, that is over 4 inches of rain. But if you drill down into here, places like Moulton, this rainfall is now over 12 inches. I'd say this is overstated, but it's probably not. It's actually probably understated because tropical rains and radars tend to get underestimated. We do have flash flood watches for a wide area still overnight. The Weather Service in Huntsville decided to extend theirs to tomorrow morning, and that was a good idea. You see them all the way from northeastern Mississippi through the northwestern corner of Alabama, western side of the Tennessee Valley, down through central Alabama, east central, into southeast Alabama, and southwestern west central Georgia. We do have a flood warning in effect for Big Nance Creek in Lawrence County, especially near Cortland. Tonight, at 8 o'clock, the stage there in the creek was 13.7 feet. Bankful is 12 feet. It will crest without any additional rains, and there are some in the area. We'll see that in a minute. 18.5 feet tomorrow afternoon. Now, that is significant because at 20 feet, there is dangerous flooding in the Cortland area. As a matter of fact, homes become inundated, and so do roads. And we don't want to have to deal with that. But that's for Big Nance Creek right there in the Lawrence County area. Southeast Alabama, we've got all kind of flash flood warnings from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee, parts of Henry and Houston counties east of Dothan, but very heavy rain still moving over those areas. I kind of don't think these link back up, and we'll look at the HRRR in just a minute, but all of this area is still vulnerable. These flash flood watches remain in effect until at least tomorrow morning. This is the HRRR, the 030 run, which came out at 10 p.m. tonight. And it does initialize nicely with the line of showers and heavy rain there from northeastern Mississippi through northwestern Alabama back to eastern parts of the Birmingham metro area. As we go through time with this rain sort of diminishes in coverage, but actually increases in intensity overnight. By 2 a.m., we're looking at some heavier convection there south and west of Birmingham, extending up into Walker County. Eastern Marion County, Winston County, and you see that kind of becomes the more dominant area. Now, that may be what we're kind of seeing on the radar. We'll go back to the 0Z run and take you further through Sunday, showing, scattered showers, nothing really organized. We get into Monday, more scattered showers developing, but you get the idea that the rainfall amounts are going to lessen with time, and that makes sense. This can't go on forever. This is the upper pattern across North America for early Sunday morning, showing big high pressure over eastern Canada, bridging back into the central part of the United States. We've got a big trough crashing on shore in the Pacific Northwest, and we've got these lowered pressures here across the southern United States, the remnants of Francine, carving out lower pressures over this area, and a developing low-pressure system that may become subtropical or tropical early in the week here off the coast of the Carolinas. As we kind of go through time here, that system moves up into Carolina. I'm going to go back a model run here because that just really doesn't serve our purposes very well. But the system off the Pacific Northwest comes on shore into the Intermountain region of the Southwest, and we still see lower pressures over the southeastern United States. This is Monday night, moving into Tuesday. This idea of lower pressures over the mid-Atlantic and the South just kind of stays there with this sandwiched little area of ridging there from the Great Lakes back into Texas. We got a little anticyclone there over Mexico in the southern part of the Texas area, the Rio Grande Valley. But really trying to come together, that ridge just kind of just hanging in there as we get into next weekend. We're staying dry the whole week. It's going to be warmer, and ridging begins to develop in week 2. I think we get a little trough there, maybe something tropical around the 26th in the Gulf. Well, we'll have to watch that. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but that's a signal we'll have to keep an eye on there. For sure. This is the GFS Sunday morning, showing those scattered showers and thunderstorms. I guess there's not much thunder involved, so we won't say thunder, but showing moderate heavy rain extending from southeastern Missouri all the way through western Tennessee into Alabama. We got rains along the Rio Grande Valley, and we've got this system trying to organize off the coast. As we move through time, it moves on shore pretty quickly Sunday night. That's much faster than the earlier model runs have shown it, but that's probably not going to give it much time to develop. And the Hurricane Center, at least as of the tropical weather outlook tonight, has about a 50% chance of development. And that could certainly decrease if that system is faster, but it moves into the mountains of western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. You see, though, that's probably giving a little impetus, for this frontal boundary that's sort of been the focus for the rains over Alabama. Aided by the moisture from Francine to sort of push to the south. You see those showers by Monday night are pushing into South Alabama. They're kind of aligning themselves in a southwest to northeast fashion here on Tuesday. If that happens, we might deal with a few more showers, but then that gets swept away by a little frontal system into early Wednesday, and then we go into a drier period. This is Friday. Into Saturday. Frontal system approaching there, it looks like, by Sunday. We've been a little concerned. We got a Madden Julian pulse moving into the Caribbean. There's a little low-pressure system by next Sunday, the 22nd. Looks like it could be coming together. Some indication that it was going to turn to the northeast, go over Cuba, out through the Bahamas, into the northeast. This run of the GFS is an outlier, folks. Not out of the realm of possibilities, but it is one possibility that we could get some sort of development into the southern Gulf of Mexico out there at the end of the period, Thursday, the 26th. Now, that's an intensifying hurricane in the central Gulf Coast, or in the central Gulf of Mexico there. But again, this is one model run, and let's see what let's go back and look at the pattern. On the 28th, there's a ridge over the top here that would make you think, it's hard for that to penetrate that. That's not a very plausible scenario at this point. We'd have to kind of zero in and see what that, might look like. Now, this is the entire North Atlantic basin, starting out this morning. This is Gordon. What's left of it, tropical storm as we talk now, maybe a tropical depression by morning, certainly probably become a tropical depression later today, and then dissipate over the next couple of days, becoming a remnant low. You see the stronger winds off the coast of the Carolinas there from that system. As we go through time, the GFS thinks that it might just be able to get its act together. What if we go over and just look at the mid-Atlantic states there and see what kind of winds we're talking about? That's not far enough. That's not far enough south. That's calling for a 52 knot subtropical storm, or maybe tropical storm. Doesn't look very tropical in that look. That's by tonight at 10 o'clock. So could we get our H storm tonight? A little homegrown close-in system. Wind gusts, along the coast there at Wilmington, Myrtle Beach could be, to gale force or tropical storm force. We'll just kind of have to see if that comes to be true. I'm going to move us back out to the Atlantic Basin here and go out further in time, because we go into sort of a quiet period. Remember, we were looking by next weekend. Look at there's that system in the western Gulf, or in the western Caribbean, moving into the Gulf, and it's out there by Saturday the 28th, moving towards southeastern Louisiana. Now we'll kind of peek at the Gulf of Mexico, what we might be looking at. This is probably another minimal hurricane, but this is a long way out. Looks like it's dealing with dry air and all sorts of problems. It's kind of falling apart there as it moves. Unfortunately, about the same place that Francine did, except maybe moving along the coast and weakening. Viable possibility, but it is just that, just a possibility. These are QPFs off the GFS, showing we don't have much more to go here. Quarter inch, 3/4 of an inch through Monday morning. Much heavier rainfall amounts along the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina. These are temperatures off the national blend of models. For Birmingham, showing 78 today. We're back in the 80s tomorrow. Then for the foreseeable future, overnight lows are going to be right in the lower middle 60s, which is not far off from where they should be. Average high this time of year, 87, I think. Was that right? Yeah, that's right. I think we were only 74 yesterday. Boy, that was nice. Running pretty cool so far, month to date. And we had a pretty nice day of rainfall yesterday at Birmingham, and we'll hopefully continue to add to that. They see the end in sight to this ridiculous string of 100-degree days they've had in Phoenix. It stands at 111 after today, when they were at 104 at Sky Harbor International Airport. And now that looks like, later today, Sunday, we'll be at 103 in Phoenix, 101 on Monday, but then that may be the end of the streak. It will possibly end at 113. And the crazy thing about it, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I guess you really can't. Maybe I'll pull it up over here, just to prove what I'm talking about. The streak is going to end at 113 days, most likely, and that is nearly 40 days longer than the previous streak, 76, set back in 1993. They had a 66-day streak just last year. So incredible heat in the Phoenix area, and hopefully that's kind of coming to an end. Well, that's it for the weather. Weather Brains is our fabulous podcast we've been doing for almost 19 years. I was talking to Sean Potter today, who's going to be on the show on October 14th. It's going to be a fun show, talking about the weather code, the code that the Signal Corps used to transmit observations of weather back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Fascinating how much information they could pack into a single word. And we'll talk about that with Sean. He's a fascinating guy. He's been on the show several times in the past, and we're cooking up some fun for that October 14th show. This last week we talked to Luke Doris, who's chief meteorologist, TV station in Kansas City, and had a blast with Luke. This week, Dr. Kim Clocko-McLean and soon-to-be Dr. James Adelot will be holding down the fort at the National Weather Association annual meeting in Irving, Texas. They're going to report in with a lot of great guests Monday night. So join us tomorrow night live at youtube.com/weatherbrains. Pick us up Tuesday morning at weatherbrains.com. Of course, we'll have it on the AlabamaWX blog too. And, of course, you can always get the audio podcast wherever you get your podcast. Well, I have notes on the blog. We'll be continually updating the forecast and bring you any changes, radar warnings, things like that as we go through the winding up phase here of what has been a very interesting week with Hurricane Francine over the southeastern United States. James will be back 2 days tomorrow. Scott will be here next Saturday. I'll see you next Sunday. And until I get that opportunity, as I always tell you, keep an eye to the sky, because you'll always have something fun to look at.